Hey YouTube subscribers, how y'all doing tonight? It's your boy MG5 and we are back again with another sports video. And tonight we're going to get things started off with the UFC 283. The pay-per-view is going down tomorrow night, January 21st, Saturday, live in Brazil. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. Teixeira versus Hill. So I want to give my thoughts on that. And also, this is my first mixed martial arts video. This is my first MMA video. So why not start things off with the first pay-per-view of the UFC? You know what I mean? The first pay-per-view of the year. So, I want to give my thoughts and predictions on the fights, especially the main event and the co-main, Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno 4, and then the main event, Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira. And then I also want to talk about, the situation with Francis Ngannou. I want to give my thoughts on that. And then, a couple big fight announcements, the return of John Bones Jones. You know what I'm saying? The return of John Bones Jones. I can't wait. And he will be fighting Ciryl Gane for the vacated heavyweight title of the world. It's going down. And then, another fight announcement, the trilogy. I've been waiting for this one. Whoo, I can't wait. Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. It's going down, y'all. It's going down. But anyways, let's jump right into this. I'm going to give my predictions, break it down for y'all fight fans. And, let's get straight into it. UFC 283. Before I start talking about the main card, I do want to visit the prelims main event and give a special shout out to Mauricio Shogun Rua, the former champion, the legend. I think this is his last fight, or it could be his last fight. And, I'll be rooting for him. I just want to give a special shout out to him. Looks like he's fighting a young killer. You know what I mean? Ior Patura. You know what I'm saying? My bad if I mispronounce the names. Some of these names are hard, and it's going to happen. So, just stay with me, y'all. But, yeah, shout out to Shogun, and hopefully he can get the dub. But moving on to the main card, we got Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker to start the show off. To be real, I got Johnny Walker with the first round TKO. I wasn't impressed by Paul Craig's last fight. He's a true grappler. The dude was on his back just flopping like a fish. I just think Johnny Walker's a better striker. He has more power, and it's in his home country, man. He gonna get the show started off right for Brazil. So, I got Johnny Walker with the first round TKO. And hey, just to let y'all know, the first 3 fights on this main card, I'm going to talk about them a little bit, but I really want to break down the and main event. But anyways, y'all, like I said, Johnny Walker over Paul Craig, first round TKO. That's what I'm going with. The second fight, we have Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. I think this is a cool little fight. I'm going with Jessica Andrade. I think she's going to get the job done. I think she's going to dominate the fight, quite frankly. And I'm going with the second round submission. I'm going with the armbar. Second or third round, I'm going to go second round. No disrespect to Lauren Murphy. She is a gamed opponent. She is a real vet. You know what I'm saying? And she is there to win. She's not there to collect a paycheck. But I just think Jessica Andrade has too much dynamite in her hands, and she's just a way better grappler than Lauren Murphy, just in my opinion. So I got Andrade's second round armbar submission. And moving on to the third fight of the main card, we have Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. I like this fight. I do think it's a safe fight for Burns after, the risk that he put on against Chimaev and the war he went against Chimaev. Matter of fact, I think the first 3 fights on this card actually favors the home crowd fighters, to be real. But, I favor Gilbert Burns in this one. I think he's going to win unanimous decision. I got Gilbert Burns beating Neil Magny, unanimous decision. I just think Gilbert Burns, he's the best jiu-jitsu guy in the game right now. You know what I'm saying? In UFC right now. And I just think his grappling skills, dynamite in both of his hands, you know what I'm saying? And his ability just being a dog. It's going to be too much for Neil Magny. I think Magny does present problems for Gilbert Burns, his movement, his length, his footwork and stuff like that. But I just think Gilbert Burns has multiple ways of closing the distance. You know what I'm saying? So I got Gilbert Burns in this one, unanimous decision. And moving on to the co-main event. Now, these are the fights, the co-main and main event. These are the 2 fights I'm going to break down and give more details into them. But we got Davison Figueiredo taking on Brandon Moreno, the fourth time. I don't think I've ever seen rivals fight 4 times in the UFC. This fight is going to be special, and it's going to be a great fight. I feel like it's going to come down to whose heart is the biggest that night, whose spirit wants it more, and who's going to be more fundamentally sound, who can take advantage of whose mistakes, and who can execute whose game plan to the T. You know what I mean? So, Moreno and Figueiredo, man, my main question for Brandon Moreno, how are you going to close the distance? And he did have to switch his coaches heading into this fight. You know what I mean? Something going on with his previous head coach, some betting. You can't do that, illegal betting. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm not, y'all may have to go look that up yourselves. But anyways, how is Brandon Moreno going to close the distance? How is he going to do that? Because Deiveson Figueiredo, when he worked out with Henry Cejudo, his footwork got better. Managing the distance and the range got better. It was a problem for Moreno. Moreno couldn't find him. He couldn't hit him like that. The first 2 fights were dog fights, a war. The third one was more kind of a strategic battle, and I think it's going to be the same. That dude, Deiveson Figueiredo, he ain't trying to go to war. He ain't trying to be in no dog fight. He going to try to play tag with this guy. He is a dog. He going to fight when he have to, but he going to be smart this fight. Trust me, that's what he's going to do. And how is Brandon Moreno going to overcome that? How is he going to close the distance? That's the main question I have for him, because he's not like no high-level elite grappler like Gilbert Burns, where you got multiple ways on how you can close the distance. But that's the main question I have for Brandon Moreno. And for Figueiredo, I think he's going to fight the same fight. He may add a little bit more to it, maybe something to his submission game. He might add something to his submission game, but I think he's going to fight the same fight. Manage the distance and range, footwork and movement. And I'm going to tag this guy. I'm going to play tag with him. I'm going to tag him. I'm going to hit him and he can't hit me. That's what he's going to do. So, I think Brandon Moreno is going to have to hurt Figueiredo in the second or third round to change the momentum of the fight, to change the wave of the fight. If Figueiredo goes all 5 rounds without getting hurt, or it doesn't look like he got touched, he will win the fight. You know what I mean? I think Moreno, for him to win this fight, he going to have to make it dirty. He going to have to make it a dog fight. And he going to have to hurt this guy. For Moreno, I think, the leg kicks and the body kicks will be there. But you got to place them right. So we'll see, man. At the end of the day, my final prediction, it's going to be a tough one. But I got Brandon Moreno split decision. I don't think he'll finish him, but I think he can get the judge's nod if he hurts him. So I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno. I may go with the underdog, even though the fight odds actually favor Brandon Moreno. I think he's an underdog because he's fighting in that guy's home country. He's fighting in Figueiredo's home country. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, moving on to the main event, we got Jamal Hill taking on the former champion Glover Teixeira. I like this fight a lot. I think this is going to be another great fight. And, I think this is the ultimate test for Jamal Hill. How is he going to overcome a lot of adversity? How is he going to overcome the crowd? A lot of things. He's fighting in Glover's home country. And not only that, you're fighting the former champion who actually should be champion. He was 30 seconds away from retaining that belt. You know what I'm saying? So many still look at Glover as the champion, but this is the ultimate test for Jamal Hill. My whole thing is, how is he going to overcome the adversity? But not only that, how is he going to overcome his own emotions? How is he going to overcome the crowd noise or the crowd's energy, the crowd's spirit? There's a lot, there's a lot right there. I think for Jamal Hill, it's a little bit different from him and Brandon Moreno, because Brandon Moreno is a former champion and he's fought Figueiredo 3 times. So I think Brandon Moreno will keep his emotions more in check. But for Jamal Hill, this is his first go around, his first title fight in his opponent's backyard, in enemy territory. How are you going to keep your own emotions in check, man? And that's the main question I have for Jamal Hill. If he's up there mentally, he's going to be fine. I feel like from the fight wise, I just think he needs to stay patient and just know that eventually his power, his conditioning, his cardio, his power, and his speed will catch Glover eventually. I think he needs to just stick to his fight game and his fight plan, do what he does best, and just stay patient. Don't overextend on your punches and don't overextend on your kicks, because if you do that, you will be getting taken down by Glover. And unlike Santos in his last fight, Glover is a high level grappler, great jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. He's a high level grappler. Like, I know Santos tried to engage with Hill in the grappling, but Hill was able to avoid it or get right back up. I don't think he'll be able to do that in this fight. If he gets taken down multiple times, I see him getting up in round 1, round 2, but round 3, round 4, round 5, nah, bro. Glover has like this bear grip. Glover gonna keep him down there and he gonna maul him. So I think for Jamal Hill, stay patient, don't overextend on your strikes, and just trust your skill set, trust your game plan, trust everything that your coaches put you through, and just believe in yourself and stick with it. One of those shots is going to land. Now for Glover Teixeira, I feel like for Glover, he's the most all-around skilled guy at light heavyweight. I know he's older now. He's the old man. You know what I mean? He's not in his prime, but his IQ, his IQ's in his prime. You know what I mean? His IQ is in its prime right now. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to y'all. His IQ is up there with I don't think no one touches his IQ right now. The way that Glover is able to mix it up, he's seen it all. You know what I mean? He's seen it all. And the brother still got power in his hands. He's still heavy-handed. He's a great grappler. So I think for Glover, just go in there and mix it up. Go in there and mix it up. You know what I'm saying? Set up traps. Play a mental game with Jamal Hill and set up traps. The moment that Jamal Hill thinks we're about to brawl, that's when you take him down. You know what I mean? And you maul him on the ground. You got submissions. You got heavy elbows and heavy hands. He can use that to his advantage to gas out Jamal Hill or to cause damage. And then another thing, the moment Jamal Hill thinks you want to take him down, come over the top with the big right hand. Sit him down. Let him know, young man, I can hurt you. So I think for Glover, it's just about mixing it up and let Jamal know that I can hurt you. But another thing about Glover that I will say is he can't stand in the pocket and take clean shots like that from Jamal Hill like he did his last fight. If he does that like he did his last fight, Glover will be going to sleep. Jamal Hill's power is different. You know what I mean? It is different. And I just think for Glover, just take your time and mix it up. You're the all-around. To me, he's the most all-around skilled guy at light heavyweight right now. But with my final predictions on that one, I think I'm going to go with the 4th round finish, and I'm going to go with Jamal Hill. If it goes to decision, then I'm going to go with Glover. I'm 50-50 on this fight, so I kind of have like 2 picks, really 2 predictions. But I think I'm going to go with Jamal Hill. I'm going to go with the 4th round finish with that one. But anyways, y'all, that's it with the UFC 283 predictions and breakdown. And, giving my thoughts on the Francis Ngannou situation. I have nothing but respect for him. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing but respect for Francis Ngannou, for the personal fact that he stood up for something that he believed in. You know what I mean? The UFC only offered Francis Ngannou money. Francis Ngannou wanted more than that. He wanted in-cage sponsors. He wanted health insurance. He wanted fighter advocate representative for all of UFC fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted more than just that. So I give nothing but respect to Francis Ngannou, because when he was young and coming up, he knew he didn't have money to pay for health insurance. He knew he didn't have money to get all these other stuff. And them fighters don't. They're getting paid 25,000, maybe 50 G's, 10,000. They don't have the money for all that stuff. So I get where Francis is coming from. Now Francis Ngannou has the money for all that stuff because he's a superstar. But he's just looking out for the next generation of fighters, and I feel him. He's a real one. He said, if I was to sit there and sign that contract, then I'll be just another guy, another sellout like the guys before me. I'm taking a stand, so much respect to him. And the fact that UFC is trying to push the narrative that this dude, Francis Ngannou, is scared to fight Jon Jones, please, man. How y'all gonna push the Ciryl Gane fight versus Jon Jones, but Francis Ngannou beat Ciryl Gane on a messed up knee, and he out-grappled that dude? Come on now, please, man, please. The disrespect, man, from the UFC. Sometimes I get tired of that, but it is just a business. It is a business. So, But anyways, my thoughts on John Jones versus Ciryl Gane. I think it's going to be a great fight. Stylistically, I think Ciryl Gane can actually match up with John Jones. I think John Jones has been training for big heavyweights that were going to try to walk him down and strike him down with heavy shots. And he's not getting that with Ciryl Gane. He's getting a finesse heavyweight, a guy who could move. You look at John Jones's past fights at light heavyweight. He's always had the better footwork, the better movement. Well, Ciryl Gane can match that and more. And the heavier strikes at heavyweight, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a great fight. I think stylistically, that fight's a lot closer than what people think it is. So I can't wait. And then, Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. Hey, y'all already know I can't wait for that fight. I'm gonna talk about that fight a little bit more as we get closer. I got Usman winning that one though. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's my boy. That's my favorite fighter. So I got to give a shout out. But two great fighters though. Leon Edwards is a great fighter and he is the champion, and much respect to him. But anyways, y'all, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what y'all think about the video. And hey, UFC 283 tomorrow night. Make sure y'all fight fans don't miss it. And hey, Eubanks Jr. versus Smith. Make sure y'all catch that boxing fight also. I'm out, y'all. I'm out.